All right, guys, so I am here with my friend Jeff Watson. Jeff, you want to quickly introduce yourself? You are a
practicing lawyer in the state of Ohio, been a real estate investor, been practicing law for 34 years, real estate investing for 31, and I co-pioneered a way to revolutionize the short sale industry back in 2007.
Which was when they basically coined the term short sale.
Correct. So the time that short sales really exploded, beginning 2006 through 2012, I created a whole new system of transactional stuff to do it. Came to the attention of title companies, came to the attention of Freddie Mac, came to the attention of Fannie Mae, spent time on Capitol Hill. That ultimate deed restriction language that we see when a short sale is approved.
Basically
you can't resell for 30 days and so on. I wrote that language.
Yeah.
I wrote that language and worked to get it incorporated in there through working through the House Financial Services Committee, FHFA, etc. So I know a lot about short sales.
But dealing with what's going on Capitol Hill, but also you are pro-investor, but also understanding stuff happens at Capitol Hill.
Yes.
That investors do.
But I've overseen and handled and been involved in thousands of short sale deals, and my documents have been used in probably between 50 and 100,000 short sales.
Yeah, so there's a lot that you've been involved with. So a lot of you guys know that recently I made a video about the news that came out with the short sale queen. Now, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, but I want this to be an opportunity for us to learn. And so, Jeff, we've talked about it. I sent it to you. The first thing we're going to talk about is mortgage fraud, right? She and her associates are facing, one of the counts is mortgage fraud. To a regular investor, is mortgage fraud something that, like what is it to an average investor? Is it something that they brush up against often, or is it something what are your thoughts on it so that an average person can understand it and say, I now understand it and I can now know how to avoid it?
Sure. Mortgage fraud is a broad term.
Yeah.
So let me break it down to where investors can understand it. Anytime that you're going to submit information to a bank, particularly a federally insured bank or institution.
So it's really important because federally insured bank or institution, so you're looking at FHA, VA, USDA, stuff
Freddie
like
Mac, Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae, the whole pile.
Not to stop you there, but how many times do you know, investors actually know if that's the case? Well, let's keep going, which is why it's important to know your craft.
If they look at the docs, if they look at the existing loan docs, they'll get it, okay?
If they know their craft, but keep
going.
If
they know their craft. The only way they will ever know if it's not a GSE or Freddie Mac or government-backed loan is if a lender says to you it is a portfolio loan.
Yes, so that's important.
Right.
So potentially DSCR loans, a small community bank who is unions are keeping it in-house.
Correct.
Great distinction there, keep going.
Okay, so when you use documents that are not accurate, so they can be fake, they can be incomplete, they can be inaccurate. You can make a misrepresentation on it. You overstate your income, you understate your expenses, you omit key liabilities, you omit a bankruptcy, you omit other things from a loan application. If you use a bought on the internet proof of funds letter from a lender that you would never conceive of borrowing money from.
Or that you have not initiated a lender and borrower relationship
legitimate loan application.
There you go.
Okay.
And so there's things like that. I mean, one of the ways we've seen an uptick in mortgage fraud is people who, when the mortgage rates were in the 2s and 3s, who bought owner-occupant loans, but they're not actually living them in their investments, right? Because they defrauded the use and the intention. There's parts where part of the paperwork talks about that, right?
Yes.
And so there's a level there where it comes back down to, you said the word, a lot of it is if people misrepresent, if they, they're trying to defraud, they're trying to change the nature of it. I mean, when you're absolutely cutting up purchase agreements and copying and pasting against other people's knowledge or doctoring, proof of funds, that's a big, very glaring thing. But what are some obvious things?
So some of the more non-obvious things are submitting a tax return that hasn't been signed and then filing a different tax return with different numbers on it. We see that happen a lot. But the big thing that I see happening over and over again is you're inducing the bank into a transaction, either to make a loan or to do a short sale, and you're giving them information that is not true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief.
Yeah.
So let's put this in the short sale context, okay?
Yeah.
A short sale is a very specific transaction. A bank looks at a short sale and says, I have a property that is either over leveraged, or I have a borrower with a problem, or a combination of the two. And I'm now receiving a very specific offer from a specifically identified buyer.
Yes, who submitted in the paperwork, yep.
Who's identified in the paperwork, who is proceeding to give me what I think is the best, fairest, highest offer on the market.
With submitting documentation.
With supporting documentation to put the whole thing together.
Yeah.
And then when you start thinking that's an interchangeable deal, you're going down the wrong path.
Interchangeable meaning?
You can swap out the buyer, you can change
assign it?
Exactly. Short sales have never been assignable.
Hold on, wait, folks. Can you please say that again?
Short sales have never been assignable. Now, I know people will play games and they'll say, well, I'll just have my trust or my LLC buy it. Well, a long time ago, banks said, no, we're not going to sell it. It's got to be an individual human being buying it.
Yeah.
Okay? And so that's the way I've always seen it. Now, I have my own opinion about short sales, and it's why I won't do them anymore. It's because of all of the scrutiny and the hard work you have to do to get a little bit of a deal out of a bank. I don't think short sales have ever been worth it. I don't think the juice has been worth the squeeze for a really long time. I gave that up, and I said it's much better to go buy the note.
Yeah.
Okay,
You have
much
moved more
better.
into the note field.
I've gotten far better deals on buying the note and becoming the bank than always being that little kid with the bowl going, please, mister, may I have a little more porridge?
But this
Oliver
is really
Twist.
important though, because the thing I'm wanting to express is so many people are just trying to make a buck. They're trying to make the bag, and so they're cutting corners and they're just doing things, but they don't understand, and it's very common in the wholesaling space, right? And so people all the time, they're saying like, hey, because short sales are starting to pop up a little bit, right? People who bought in 2021 and they overpaid and their
Right.
prices a little bit. I mean, it might not be being underwater grossly, but some, right?
Yeah.
And so we're starting to see them. And so then what you're seeing is folks who don't know. And so we're trying to say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Exactly. And I have seen this cycle before, Courtney. I have seen investors play games with the documentation going in on short sales. They play games with the days on market. They play the MLS game around a little bit.
Yeah.
They submit false financial information. They do other misrepresentations. I can name
Like
names.
agents should not be saying, hey, I'm gonna come help you with your short sale. I'm gonna put it on there, but I'm not gonna let anyone look at it, or we're gonna, or we're gonna misrepresent the listing.
The bank believes in a short sale that property has been exposed on the market for a minimum of 30 days, and this is the highest and best offer they're going to get.
Legitimately exposed and legitimately given the opportunity
With multiple showings.
Yeah.
But I see agents play games where they'll like, oh, it's been on the MLS for 40 days and yet they've had it all hidden on the side. I've seen them do that. And I've seen them go to jail for doing that, okay? I've seen other games get played. There's sometimes an affidavit that is required by a bank as part of a short sale process. They'll make the seller sign an affidavit. They'll make the buyer sign an affidavit. That is a statement under penalty of perjury that what you're doing in the transaction is outlined in that affidavit. I've seen people get felony convictions for deliberately signing the affidavit and then doing the opposite of it.
So those are the affidavits that say things. Is that where they say stuff like that? This is this is not an arm's length transaction.
It is an arm's length.
It is an arm's length transaction.
Right. And I'm not going to resell the property.
Correct. And so there's a level there that because the bank's ultimately not trying to take a hit, they're trying to
they're trying to mitigate the loss for the taxpayer.
Because especially for these government-backed ones,
Right.
where it's not just the big old bank that's losing money, it's stuff that's tied to the government
It's
and
tied-
ultimately the taxpayer.
Correct. It ultimately comes back to the taxpayer. And so a lot of times one of the short sale affidavits out there is that the seller is receiving nothing out of the deal, except they might get a fully disclosed cash for keys, a couple $1,000, whatever those programs were.
Relocation, moving, like
Right.
fees, stuff like
But
that.
it was
yeah.
whatever with the HAMP or the half a short sale programs allowed.
Yeah.
But I've seen it where, there's a side deal. Oh, if you let me do this short sale, I'll give you $10,000 after we close the deal. and you sign an affidavit to the contrary, you get busted for that. That's a no-no. So the key elements are that the buyer has to be the legit buyer.
The buyer on the contract.
Every piece of evidence that goes in with the short sale offer submission, whether it's the contract, the financial statements, the BPO, anything and everything, pictures regarding the condition of the house, is true and accurate. I've seen people play games with the condition of the house. They'll go in with a fake BPO kit where they'll make looks like water damage and when it's really just a can of Coke sprayed on the ceiling. I've seen people play games with how they would do other things in the house. I'm not going to list them all out because I want people to get those.
But there's actual case law of people getting in trouble for messing with this stuff.
Oh, I can name names, but I won't because this is going to go live. I'm not going to name names of agents in California and in Virginia and in Colorado and in Columbus, Ohio that have all gone to jail over this stuff.
So I'm not picking on this situation, Nicole. That's not the point. The point here is saying, first of all, this ain't the first time, and then two, don't play stupid games because you can win similar prizes.
Yes, and it's not a good prize.
It's not a good prize.
But the thing you got to understand is true, legitimate real estate investing is a thinking person's business.
Yep.
It's not a running person's game. And it is a business that requires the utmost in accuracy and integrity. And it is not a get rich quick. If you're looking to do get rich quick, go trade Forex. Get out of real estate. If you're looking to get rich quick, go trade Bitcoin or any other meme coin that you want. Get out of real estate, okay? If you're looking for the quick, easy buck, forget it. It's not here, okay?
I think that's important. Any other thoughts as an attorney who has seen the conversations on Capitol Hill about what's going on in the messiness in our real estate investing world? Any final thoughts here about what you and I have discussed with this case?
So I have seen it multiple times, and I'm going to say this. If you're thinking about doing short sales, if you're thinking about marketing to any kind of person who may be in distress and behind on their payments, if you've not checked to see if your state has a foreclosure rescue law,
this is important. No one talks about this.
I mean, these laws have been on the books since
2006,
and there's like 23 out of the 50 states have them.
And so someone should search. They should search on Google. Does my state have a
foreclosure rescue statute?
And so that's really important because if you don't know that, everyone says go work foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, right? I'm like, working foreclosures is a skill. If you don't know what you're doing, again, you could get in trouble.
Very easy to get in trouble. It is a skill that requires deep pockets to pay for lawyers. It requires excellent paperwork. It requires good marketing. It requires excellent communication. And it requires persistence, diligence, and follow-through. I'm best friends with a guy that has literally negotiated over 10,000 discounts in the short sale space. I know this business so well, and I've chosen to completely get out of it because of all of the regulatory concerns.
That is important, guys. I think it's important to end on that part. Jeff, at the end of the day, thank you for sharing this stuff. I think it's important for people to learn from situations like this. I mean, who knows? She may get, beat these charges, whatever. Who knows, right? I think it's less about her, and that's the catalyst for the conversation.
Let me tell you this. My experience in doing this for 20 years, the feds don't show up unless they've got you dead to rights. I'm just telling you. They've got you dead to rights.
Well, folks, take a listen to this. I've got to ask, what does be the third pig mean? Because I think someone on the internet's going to ask.
So the story behind the three little pigs.
Straw,
sticks, and bricks. Be the third pig. Build your business, do it right. Build the brick house that can withstand the storms of life that are going to come at you. Set your business up to run it the right way, have reserves, plan ahead, have integrity, do business the right way.
Look, I did not plan that. We've been sitting next to the other day, and all day, and I've just been like, what the heck is your be the third pig? Guys, be the third pig, build your business right, don't cut corners, and learn your craft. Keep tuning in for more content. Jeff Watson, what's the best way people can get in touch with you?
WatsonInvested.com. WatsonInvested.com. I got a free email newsletter. Sign up for it. It is worth what you pay for it because it's absolutely free. Send it out twice a week. Great content. I got about 40,000 readers across the nation on that thing.
The newsletter's great. I read it myself. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff.
Peace.